Hey there, what's going on everybody? My name's Dr. P and welcome back today for another Fortnite video right here on the channel. Thank you so much for stopping back by. Now today guys, I want to cover a whole bunch of new map changes that have happened in the last 24 hours. Really cool stuff that is progressing the storyline a little further every time. Make sure you guys drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel for all the latest and greatest Fortnite content. Shout out to everyone in the Fruit faction using my support a creator code in the item shop. It's Pineapplez YT. Huge shout out to the legends on screen. If you want to shout out next, just send me a screenshot on Twitter. Recently, Fortnite made a pretty big change to actual gameplay. They changed the way you siphon health and gain materials after you get a kill. I personally thought it was awesome because you would be able to get, most importantly, health back as a reward for killing someone, which especially if you're running low on health and supplies, it's going to reward you for killing. On the flip side, it did also encourage thirsting, but I think that's something we're going to have to live with because the update overall was good. As you might expect, Epic has gotten a lot of backlash because of this update, and they actively just shared less than 24 hours ago that it has nothing to share regarding health/mat changes in version 8.2. They said, as always, we'll continue to listen to player feedback. I'm pretty sure this is their way of indirectly telling us they're going to end up reverting this change. Literally, there are so many famous people and pro players that are saying this is bad, we need to get it back the way it was, and it kind of looks like they're implying that anyway by that message by saying we'll continue to listen to players' feedback. If I had to guess, I'd say at some point it's gonna get reverted, but you know, I don't know for sure. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think should happen? Moving right along, next thing I want to touch on is the current location of the helicopter that's been going around the map. Recently, it was on the Viking village. That was the last time I recorded a video. Since then, it's gone near Pleasant, and then here near the block. As always, the telescope is pointed towards the middle of the map, kind of at Loot Lake, and if you look in the telescope, you can see the reflection is different this time. For the first 4 or 5 stops it took, the reflection in the telescope was about the same. Then they started to change every time, so I'm not exactly sure what they're looking at here, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense right now. I'm assuming at some point in the future it'll snap, it'll click, and we will figure it out. The helicopter is also back at the same spot, almost back at the same spot that it originally came here. Remember, it spawned originally north of Sunny Steps. It did a loop of the map, and it's already back on the northern side, only a few stops away from where it originally came. So if it does go back and completes a whole lap, then it's only going to have 2, maybe 3 more stops. And then when it's done, who knows what goes from there. There's also something that just happened very recently that I want to talk to you about. It's brand new to the game. So in the square H7, there is an excavation site. A bunch of construction equipment here and machines just digging down into the earth looking for something. You can see a pile of bones right there. You might assume those are some kind of dinosaur bones or maybe dragon bones. I'm not sure, but some creature's bones there. There's also a geyser that was found deeper down in the earth. So what's going on? That's the question. What's going on here? There are even files in the game's coding suggesting this is not the last time this is going to happen. In fact, it's supposed to happen several more times at regular intervals, kind of like previous things we've had in the game before, like the cube and the earthquakes. So obviously this is a very big thing. I mean, you can see right here, there's a big indent at the ground in Loot Lake, near Loot Lake, that is basically saying, hey, this is going to be like the next excavation site. It's a huge thing. It's going to keep happening. So ultimately, who's digging and why are they digging? Well, I feel like this could very well have something to do with the helicopter. If you'll recall, one of the main theories about the helicopter right now is that it is the government coming here to look around for the treasure because they heard there was treasure here. That's the whole theme of the season. X marks the spot. And clearly they seem to be digging, looking for something, and they seem to be trying to find this treasure. At least that's what my opinion is. Well, how would they know where to dig? That's where the helicopters come in. I believe the helicopter's been going around the map, scouting out all the best possible dig sites, sending it back to people in the government, and then they came here, brought their equipment, and started digging. The first site didn't have the treasure there, so they'll be moving on to other sites until they hopefully find the treasure. Now, I do think it's fair to say that the helicopter and all of this digging equipment are properties of the government. Back in Season 4, there were a bunch of helicopters and equipment in the middle of the Dusty Divot that looked just like what we have in the game. If we think the helicopters from the government, we have to think that the people digging are from the same organization as the helicopter. So naturally, we have to group them with the government. Take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt here, but I do think it makes a lot of sense. I'm going to be very curious to see ultimately what these dig sites are looking for and what the treasure could end up being, because based on the way the season is titled and the season's catchphrase, X marks the spot, and based on the cinematic cutscene we got when the season started, showing the pirates, the Fire King, and the Ice King all fighting for this one treasure chest, I kind of feel like there is something, and something's going to be discovered at some point that will drastically set up the storyline for Season 9, or maybe even later in Season 8. Not only do we have the helicopter, not only do we have the excavation site near Paradise Palm with more likely on the way, but we also have a lot of leaks now, concrete evidence for a volcanic eruption event in Fortnite. I've been talking about the volcano erupting, and basically I really didn't have much proof, except for the fact that if something gets added and it's this big, much the way the volcano is, it would be very anticlimactic if it did not in some way do something. And it looks like we are well on our way to getting an actual volcano event. This is courtesy of Fortnite BR. It seems that we're getting what everyone expected from a huge volcano in the middle of the map. That's right, the volcano in Fortnite is maybe going to erupt. Sounds from the event, codenamed Dopey, can be heard in Hypex's tweets below. Multiple leakers have claimed that these sound files are separate to the ones from the Floor is Lava LTM, so it's possible we may indeed getting a volcanic eruption soon. It's interesting the code word they've chosen for the event, Dopey. All of the previous events have had code names. For example, the Cube event literally was just Cube, so it's very possible the word Dopey could directly relate into what is going on. I looked up the definition of the word. One of the possible definitions is stupefied by sleep. You might say the volcano right now is sleeping. It's not yet erupted, but we know it could in the future. I'm guessing that's the relation to the event. Dopey simply means the volcano is quote-unquote asleep, and when it activates when the event happens, it will no longer be Dopey. Like I said, we had been talking about the volcano erupting for so long, but now we actually do have concrete sound files straight from the game's coding with an event name attached to it. Dopey. I'm excited to see when it happens. It could be relatively soon. It could be towards the end of the season. My guess, though, is somewhere around week 8, week 9, so I'm guessing like 3 to 4 weeks max. And we'll start to see signs of at least something happening, right? At least see signs of it. There will be something to talk about at that point if the event hasn't happened by then. Personally, I have been to every in-game event. Whether I was home or not, I found some way to get on the game and actually be there to experience it. And that's something I totally intend on doing with this volcano event if it actually happens, which I'm pretty sure it will at this point. Make sure to let me know if you guys plan on attending the volcano eruption event. We don't know when it's going to be, and we don't know how long it's going to last, and we really don't even know what it's going to do. All of that is up to our imagination and for our surprise, really, and that's the way it should be. We might know something is going to erupt, but if we don't know what's going to happen, that's what makes it interesting. It could cover up the whole map, and that would be a way to introduce a new map for Season 9, or it could just, you know, destroy a couple main places, take over a certain area of the map, and just transform it a bit for Season 9 like they've been doing literally every season the past couple seasons. They've been changing the map slowly but surely to the point now where if you look at the map in Season 8, it looks so much different than it did in Season 3, almost like a new map, but the same map nonetheless. What would you prefer? Make sure to let me know in the comments. Would you prefer there to be a new map for Season 9, or would you prefer there to just be an extension of our current map like they've been doing the past couple seasons? Make sure to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. Let's shoot for somewhere around 1,000 likes, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys. I'm uploading near daily Fortnite content, keeping you completely updated every time something important happens with the storyline, with an update, anything like that. I've got you covered. I like to think I give pretty good analysis and stuff like that, so Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm always interacting with you guys over there, and it's the second best place to get in contact with me after my YouTube comments. So definitely do that. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, guys, peace out, my friends.